Hi everybody, this is Boog S Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the McFarlane Toys Batman and Spawn 2-pack. So before we take a look at Batman, let's go ahead and take a look at Spawn and all of his accessories. So first up, you get this very awesome backdrop and backdrop holder. You get an awesome shot of Batman and Spawn there on the front. And on the backside, if you want, you can display the skull artwork. And this looks really cool, but it doesn't quite look as cool as the front there with the Batman and Spawn. That looks cool. The holder also looks really cool. You get a bunch of very awesome skulls sculpted in there with a cool black and brown wash. That looks amazing. This really reminds me of the old movie Maniacs poster holders. Yeah, that looks very sick. Up next, he comes with his base. This is the base we've seen used with most Multiverse and Spawn figures, except this time it has a new deco there with the Spawn logo. Up next, he comes with his data file. On the front here, it looks like your standard DC Multiverse data file, but on the back, it looks very awesome. You get this red and green coloring. That really looks good. And if you want to read that, go ahead and pause that now. And finally, he comes with the Sword of the Spirit. This is an accessory I've wanted with a Spawn figure for quite some time. It has some amazing sculpt detail to it. All the dents and scratches on the blade there looks really nice. You get a little bit of brown paint down here. I feel like the brown paint is a little bit heavy. I feel like it should have just been a wash, because you can see a line right here where it turns brown. But other than that, this looks very nice. You get a skull right there by the handle, some wrappings to the handle. That looks really good. My only complaint is that sometimes when this is drawn, it has a really cool chain coming out of the bottom, so it would have been cool if they would have molded a chain to the bottom. I know we probably wouldn't have gotten a real chain, but a molded chain on the bottom of this would have looked sick. So now let's go ahead and take a look at Spawn's head sculpt. This head sculpt looks very nice. If you have the Spawn figure that came with the throne, you're pretty much familiar with the body mold and the head sculpt, but it still looks very nice. The shading around the eyes there looks really good. The green eyes, of course, look great. The collars are much better on this version, though. They're actually done in black and white, as opposed to the kind of grayish black and kind of tan collar that the one that came with the throne had. Here they are next to each other, and you can tell the differences in color. I definitely like this one better. I think the colors look better. You can tell that even the chains are a different color. It's very slight, but I love the colors on this one more. You can see the pouches actually have some touches of silver that this one didn't. So yeah, I just love the way the colors look on this one compared to this one. The cape also looks fantastic. It's very reminiscent of the classic McFarlane Spawn figures capes. It has some crazy texturing on it, and it looks great. It also has a very nice black wash over top of it. Here you can see where a little bit of the black wash didn't get in the wrinkle here at the bottom of the cape. But yeah, that black wash makes it look really good. I feel like it's a little glossy. I would have preferred if it was more of a matte finish, but it still looks really cool. And all of his spikes are done in a very nice silver color. I do wish we would have got a little bit of a black wash on his boot here, but that is a minor gripe. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head that can look up all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side. Now here's where I have complaints with the figure. Due to the way the cape is sculpted, you won't get much articulation out of his arms. So he has ball-jointed shoulders that can only move out that far. He also has butterfly joints, but yeah, they won't move at all. Can only move up that far on the left side due to the armband. On the right side, it can move up just a little more. He has a swivel at the bicep. On this side, it's almost non-existent. It doesn't want to move at all. On this side, it does move. He has double-jointed elbows that can bend in all the way. He has ball-jointed wrists that can move up and down and spin all the way around. He has a ball-jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back that far. He can crunch forward very slightly. He can move side to side up here very slightly, and side to side down at the waist very slightly. He has hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward all the way. He can kick back very slightly. He has a swiveled thigh, double jointed knees that can bend back all the way. They are kind of stiff though. He has ball jointed ankles that can move down just a little bit, up all the way, spin all the way around, though you can hear that is a very tight joint, and toes that can move up that far. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at Batman and his accessories. So first up, Batman comes with your standard DC Multiverse base. He is kind of top heavy because of the way his cape is sculpted, so he also benefits from using that base. Up next, he comes with his data file. And if you want to read that, go ahead and pause that now. Though I'm pretty sure this is just the same bio that we get with almost every Batman figure. Up next, he comes with his Batarang, and I feel like he can hold this better in this open hand. He actually has an accessory holding hand specifically made for this Batarang, but I feel like it just looks better in this hand, and he can hold it way better. So yeah, that's what I've done with mine. And finally, he comes with that alternate accessory holding hand, which I will not be using, and a left fisted hand. I would have preferred this right hand to be just a regular fisted hand. I think that would have looked a lot better. So now let's go ahead and take a closer look at his head sculpt. So I think McFarlane Toys did a fantastic job on this head sculpt. Though this is not based on the Batman and Spawn comic, this is actually based on Greg Capullo's artwork. This Batman is exact to that artwork, even down to the yellow eyes and the points up here on the cape. So yeah, even though this isn't based on what the pack is supposed to be based on, I still think this Batman figure looks fantastic. The yellow eyes look really good. I really like that scowl that he has there. You can see that there's a little bit of paint to his cheeks. It's kind of like a reddish color. I don't think that was necessary, but the mouth actually has a pretty good sculpt to it. All of the individual teeth are painted very nicely, and so is his tongue. So yeah, this is a very sick looking head sculpt. Even the veins here in his neck sticking out, that looks really, really good. This is a very intense looking Batman head sculpt, and I love it. The rest of this figure also looks really good. That dark gray color and black, that just looks really good. For some reason, I thought this figure was done in all black. But yeah, now that I have it in hand, I realize it's just a very dark gray and black color. And the yellow that's painted there for the logo and the belt here, that really pops on these dark colors. That just looks very, very nice. This reuses the Batman Year 2 body mold, but I think it's a brilliant reuse, especially considering that art. That art of Batman facing Spawn there where he's kind of posed like that. That looks really good. And this has one of my favorite Batman capes ever. My favorite cape is actually what came with the original body mold of this figure, the Year 2 Batman with that really long flowy cape. But this one is a close second. I just love the way the cape looks. Though due to the way it's sculpted, it's very heavy, so it does kind of make him want to topple over if you don't have that stand on him. It's very hard to tell, but it has this slight texturing to it. It almost has like this leathery kind of texturing to it, on top of all of those wrinkles. So yeah, the sculpt on this looks fantastic. On mine's right forearm, you can see a little bit of paint that's missing right here for the glove. That is a bit unfortunate. I might try to match that up myself, but I am rarely able to actually match the color from the factory on a figure. And then here are the legs. This actually has new lower legs from the Year 2 Batman figure because the boots were just cut off and these come up in a point. I don't know if these have been used on a previous Batman figure. These might have been used on the Hush Batman figure. But still, these look really cool and adds a new piece from the Year 2 Batman figure. So now let's go ahead and go over his articulation. He has a ball-jointed neck that can look up just about all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side, and this head stays on here very nicely. Even though I do love the Year 2 Batman figure, the head on that thing falls off constantly. I don't know how many times I've been taking my figures down to dust them, and I have lost his head. So yeah, this one feels pretty snug. It moves very nicely and feels snug, so I'm very happy that McFarlane Toys fixed that issue. He has ball-jointed shoulders that can move all the way out. Even with his cape, they can still move all the way out. He has butterfly joints, but they are pretty limited. He has a swiveled bicep, double-jointed elbows that can bend all the way in, ball-jointed wrists that can move up and down and spin all the way around, ball-jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back that far. He can't crunch forward at all. That is pretty unfortunate. If it wasn't for that, I think this would be a perfect figure. He can move side to side up here and side to side the waist very nicely. He can do a complete split. He can kick forward all the way. He can kick back all the way. He has a very nice thigh swivel. Double jointed knees that can bend back all the way. Ball jointed ankles that can move down all the way. up all the way, spin all the way around, and toe articulation that can move up all the way. So overall, I would highly recommend this 2-pack. I think McFarlane Toys did a phenomenal job on this. These are just reuses of previous figures, but I think they're done really well. The Batman figure that comes in this pack might be one of my favorite Batman figures that McFarlane Toys has done. I genuinely think it'd be in the top 5. I will admit it would have been nice if this was more accurate to the source material, but this looks just like that Greg Capullo artwork, and I can't be mad at that because I love Greg Capullo as an artist. And even Spawn looks amazing. The collars on this one are so much better than the previous version. The cape is a bit heavy and limits the articulation of the arms, but it is still a good figure, and I do think it's slightly better than the previous Spawn figure. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.